We now have Dr. B.V. Mehta, Executive Director at the Solvent Extractors Association of India, now joining us. Mr. Mehta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET
My
now.
pleasure.
First up, tell us, I understand that the government had come out with a notification for reducing customs duty on edible oil from 20% to 10%. How much of it has already been passed on to the customers, and now with this government directive, how much of it will be passed on in the due course?
Yes, let me tell you, on 30th May, government issued a notification, that was a Friday night, late night, reducing the duty on the crude oil, whether palm, soya, and sunflower, by 10% cut. 10% cut, and requested the industry to pass on the benefits to the consumer. See, that objective of reduction of duty was the two objectives. One, to pass on the benefit to the consumer, and second, the industry was asking to increase the duty difference to counter the innovative duty structure by the exporting country. I'll give you an example. Indonesia got the highest duty on crude palm oil and lower duty on RBD oil. And the same is the case with Malaysia. So that was the reason the landed cost of RBD oil in India was cheaper than CPO. Now, why I should import the crude when I'm getting my finished product lower than the crude price here? So this was how it was happening. Industry was suffering, refining industry was suffering, capacity utilization was going down, and the refiners from a refining rather than they become the packer, and the overall employment also was getting reduced. So we had brought to this notice to the government repeatedly, and last month also we had a meeting with the Honorable Minister of Food and Consumer Member Sri Prahlad Joshi, as well as Mr. Piyush Goyal, Commerce Minister, and brought to the notice. And thank the government immediately realized and took the decision and created a better duty difference, which will support the domestic refinery, and same time reduction of duty will help the consumer for a lower price here. This is and after 30th up to 10th, things were moving very smoothly. One by one, companies were reducing the price of edible oil, both MRP, and that was visualized in the market also. The price went down by 5 to 6 rupees a liter. This was happening, and most of the companies were doing so. In fact, we had also meeting with the food ministry on 11th, and that time also we brought to the notice that since we have some stocks of the old duty paid, it may take 15 to 20 days to clear the old stock, and when the new stock arrives with a low duty, more benefit will be passed on to the consumer. Unfortunately, since then, something different happened. The war between the Israel and the Iran has changed the scenario into a scenario. And particularly, let me tell you, the CPO and all CPO or others price went up by $50 in the international market. So this is the benefit which is passed on by the government for lower duty has washed out in no time. This was a really concern for the industry as well as the government. Because suddenly in the last 5 days, things have changed. But anyway, the industry, what is the best way? Passing the benefit to the consumers here.
So you're saying
Yeah,
that the industry has already passed on the benefit. Am I getting you right?
yeah, that's true.
And fully 100% benefit passed on already?
No, madam, it cannot be 100% because
Okay.
there are a lot. Earlier also industry was passing the rough time. This given some relief to the industry also. Now what is the base they were passing? They are still passing. But the Iran-Israel war has changed the interest scenario, and CPO price went up by $50. Oh, that's if you look at this is also a cause of concern for the industry. How to now, on one side, the government reduces duty to pass on the benefit to the consumer. On the other side, the market has gone up by $40 to $50 for particular crude palm oil. So, what are the benefit pass on? Now, practically it's washed out with the international price. Let's hope that the Iran war gets over soon as well as possible, so that again crude price come down, and so the edible oil. Now you have seen you are also talking about the crude price. Crude price has gone up more than 10% in last 5 or 6 days. This has also impact on the edible oil. So this is what you call is a vicious circle. The crude price went up, edible oil price also went up in line with the crude price. Yeah.
I understand. Crude oil prices have risen a whole lot. In fact, they've risen nearly 10% over the last 10 days, and this is likely to impact edible oil market as well. So, in the light of rising crude oil prices, what kind of negative impact do you expect on your industry?
No, that's exactly the price went up. See, the what the government with the good intention did it, and certainly the war has changed the scenario. We are also concerned with the consumer, and we wanted to pass on all the benefits which we could pass on to the consumer, and we have agreed with the government that will definitely pass on the benefit to the consumer, and industry was doing. Industry were doing one by one, and we are also informing the government how much price has been reduced, MRP reduced, how much per liter reduced. But also we had conveyed that during the meeting on 11th, this may take 15-20 days till the old stock finish and the new stocks arrive at the lower duty.
So it will take about 15-20 days. That's the lag period between the exhaustion of the old inventory, and also that much time the industry will take to pass on the benefit of lower customs duty as well. Mr. Mehta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us decode the impact of rising crude oil prices, its impact on edible oil industry, and also with respect to the customs duty that was cut recently.